Is it practical for me to move abroad? This was a post I saw on social media about a week ago. And while I did not comment on it, I definitely have an opinion on this. And I'm going to share that with you in this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here and have not subscribed, please consider doing so and clicking that notification bell so that each time I upload a video about moving abroad, living in France, or finding the confidence and courage to live life on your terms, you will be notified. My name is Patricia Brooks, and almost 5 years ago now, I did the impractical thing and I moved to France. And I say it was impractical because it made no logical sense. My still being here makes no logical sense, but I am so glad that I am. And in this video, I'm going to talk about these thoughts of something needing to be logical or practical for you to move forward on that. Okay? So back to that post. Is it practical for me to move abroad? Well, let's first unpack the word practical. There are two primary definitions. One is concerned with the practice or the doing of something versus theorizing about something. And I don't think that that's what the person who posted this meant. I think they were concerned with how feasible it would be for her to move abroad. How likely it would be for her to be successful in making a move abroad. This question of practicality in my move abroad did not really come up because for me, my desire to live in France was coming from a place deep inside of me. My intuition was pushing me forward to do the things that I was doing, and I didn't really have a chance to question how logical it was. And this was quite uncharacteristic of me. I had been a project manager for just about 20 years. I had lived my life very logically, planning out each step. Well, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then this will happen, and then this will happen, and then this will happen. Right? I did that going through college and getting my first job, accepting that first nightmare of a job in spite of my gut telling me, run the other way, don't take that job. No, I was going to take that job because that would allow me to pay my student loans that would be coming due in 6 months. That would allow me to honor my mom's belief that a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. And so I accepted it. And for 9 months, 8 of which I woke up covered in hives, stress-induced hives, going into a job I hated, where I was not respected, where I was treated unfairly. And then I was unceremoniously let go from my first job out of college. Me, somebody who follows the rules. And so logic did not serve me well there, but it would take me many more years of seeing a pattern like this when I would plan something, go against my better judgment, and then find myself not really being in a situation that I wanted to be in, for me to start to trust and listen to my intuition. All right, so that's where I stand on the idea of something being practical or logical for you to pursue it. Now, I do want to caveat this by saying, for me, I knew deep inside of me that this move abroad, this move to France, was something that I felt so compelled to do. It was coming from deep within inside of me. And so I knew that this was what I needed to do. I knew this was my dream. If you aren't so sure of that, and you can ask yourself the question, where is this idea of my wanting to move abroad, or any other big idea that you have that you're questioning if it's practical? Where is this idea coming from? Is this my idea, or is this somebody else's idea? And I say that because for years I was living somebody else's dream for me. That was to get a good corporate job, have health insurance, buy a house, settle in, and then retire at age 65 or 67. And that worked for me for a little bit until it didn't. And I started to listen to my own intuition, my own instincts. So that's the question you need to ask yourself. Whose dream is this anyway? Is this really my dream? Is this what my heart is telling me to do? And if you find that it's coming deep from deep within inside of you, then you can say, okay, it doesn't necessarily need to be logical. It doesn't necessarily need to be practical. And I can start to plan and prepare and research to make this dream a reality. Okay? So, how does this sit with you? Do you believe that something needs to be practical or logical before you take steps to work to make it happen? Let me know in the comments. There is a quote from George Bernard Shaw that is rather strong. It's worded rather strongly, but I think it is fitting here. It goes, "The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man." And I say it's strongly worded because the word unreasonable is a very strong word. But if you were to replace unreasonable and reasonable with impractical and practical, you'd have a softer version of this quote and you could really, really understand what I'm talking about here. The practical man adapts himself to the world. The impractical man persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the impractical man. Can you see what I'm going for here? Yeah. And that quote is attributed to George Bernard Shaw. So I want to give you another example of a woman who is in my program who kind of did the quote unquote impractical or illogical thing. She had this dream of living in Germany for years. She lived there for a little while and wanted to get back there. She had not been able to sustain herself there long term, was not able to find a job there, and found herself back in her home country. And she kept thinking about living in this place that was so magical for her. And finally, she signed up for my program. She'd done a lot of inner work on her own, but she signed up for my program. We worked together. And earlier this year, she took the leap and she moved to Germany without having a job in hand. She moved there on a job seeker's visa. That allowed her 6 months to find work, find a job that would sponsor her. And it was looking like that perhaps things would not work out for her. But she continued on. She was accepting of the fact that maybe she might have to move back. But she was okay with that because at least she had made a good attempt at living this dream that she felt so compelled to follow. Well, 2 weeks before she would have to return to her home country, she landed a job that would sponsor her. Now she's got a visa and she is able to work there and live the life that she has dreamed for herself for so many years. Now, had she got stuck in the idea that, well, it's not logical for me to go there without having this job, even though I can get a visa that could allow me 6 months to find that job. If she had allowed herself to say, oh, it's not really practical, and did not take that leap of faith, she might not have a job and not have the visa that she has today and not have the life that she has today. So just wanted to share that with you, that it's not only me who has had experiences of doing something that's illogical, that's impractical, and that things seem to work themselves out. So what are your thoughts here on this subject? Have you done anything that didn't seem logical and panned out? Give this video a thumbs up if you've ever been in that situation. Now, you may have big dreams, and big dreams take courage. If your dream is to move abroad, but you aren't really so confident in doing something that just might not make a whole lot of sense to you, I'd love to have a conversation with you to see where you are, where you want to be, what is holding you back, and if working with me can help you get there with more ease. I'm going to put a link to my calendar in the description where you can find a time for us to talk and figure that out. Now that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, found it insightful, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.